Hey, this is just a quick little low-tech video for those of you considering using the Fuelz and OpSpark comparisons that we provide within your workplace, whether it's for an HR initiative or engagement opportunity, or if you're just looking to have an advantage over your competitors with really high-level coaching insights that can be obtained extremely efficiently and affordably. This is what you're going to be getting. And just as an interesting thing, most of you by this point have already assessed Fuelz and seen how much it really reveals of who you are as a worker, where your limitations are, where you really need to be challenged because you have so much to offer. But I just want to show you very quickly, we had the opportunity to assess about 1,700 different people in a worker pool, and even when we had them categorized by the rough shape that you see here of their service output, even when we pre-sorted for that kind of focus, it's all over the board. And this is especially helpful when comparing to more legacy assessments that break people up into various categories, because here you'll see what you experience every day with your coworkers or as a manager on the shop floor is that people are absolutely different, and the slightest variance in how you treat somebody can really affect the way that they are receptive to you. And without relying on individual charisma or just a sixth sense for reading people, if you're sending your managers out onto the shop floor with even good level assumptions based upon even 16 or 20 different possible subsets of people, there are literally millions of combinations with this, but they each have their very simple use, because when you start to not only understand very plain spoken English, the different things that really rise to the surface for the people you're working with, but even being able to see generally when it comes to how much of this person is easily dedicated towards making better decisions, towards building stronger relationships, towards helping motivate others or just get things done, especially when you take the assessment through our sister program on the employment side, OpSpark, to be able to assess for that job that they're occupying how much of this is dedicated to those different areas and what sensibilities really rise to the top for your priorities. Not only along the lines of what kind of work they're doing, what specific sorts of challenges are they facing, whether it's getting things done, keeping your word, connecting the dots idea-wise, building long-term relationships and maintaining those long-term relationships. There's different challenges that each job presents. To be able to measure those things, not only what the job is, how it's measured internally for success, but also the company culture, all those things that come together. That's where the magic of the system really starts to excite, because now even if your managers, say you have one or two that's really gifted in one area, but maybe they don't read people super well, or they just haven't met certain people, there's always so much opportunity to inadvertently step on toes even when it's not intentional, where this starts to really help you out. Let me bring this up. So one of the first things that we offer, and I've blocked out some of the names to help maintain company and individual privacy, but imagine your managers walking around the floor and these placards are available in people's cubicles or workstations, or you can of course shrink these down and put 4 or 8 to a sheet, so that when I'm dealing with Rachel here, I know she's a renown. I need to show how she is making a unique and individual difference. She's all about fairness and justice, so I need to try to talk about the job and the output that she's bringing in those terms. Or she's a very helpful person to say, Rachel, thank you so much. I've noticed you, and I just want to let you know what you're doing is really helping me. It makes things a lot fairer for people. I appreciate what you do with your fellow workers and help us feel like we're all a part of a team, that nobody's left out. And then you just walk down the line to Patrick and you say, Patrick, hey, thanks for always having a smile on your face. I know I really appreciate how you have that sensitivity to really know how people are feeling. Hey, I'm counting on you. If anyone's having a bad day, please let me know, because I don't want to step on their toes. Hey, I just love watching that you have no wasted time, no wasted effort. I know that we're just getting a super compact, supercharged effort from what you're doing. They might even have the same jobs, but just being able to talk to them at those levels, it just really makes a lot of difference, because at the end of the day, we're individuals, and especially in a large environment where it's so easy to get to be worker X in job Y, it's so nice to be able to supply this to your leaders so that they can have that individual impact that usually is only reserved for very small and cohesive teams. But if you want something a little bit more refined, it's just nice to have those things going through. Let me get to some of the more refined ones. This is more of our pro reporting, where we can juxtapose the job that if you're doing some more specific in-depth career coaching and you really need to make the most of those review process, if you really need to have high-level coaching, we can supply these charts as well, where you see a splash of the individual, a splash of the job that they're occupying, you know, how they will probably react when left to their own. And even we can now measure, based upon our research and our responses from people, the numbers end up being extremely accurate, we'll say. Spooky is the word usually used. You know, the difference in their engagement level based upon their alignment to the job itself, not only through low oversight where they're basically left to their own, but also with the expectation that at different times you really have to turn up the heat, really tighten down the screws and say, this is the job, this is the expectation, this is what we're going for. To be able to see person to person, you know, the difference between each individual, to showcase to you, you know, what is the individual's top 5 motivators, what does the job reflect back on that, what priority is that for the position itself, vice versa for the job. There are times where the job is a good fit for the person, but the person's not as good of a fit for the job, if that makes any sense. Where they're good for you, they tick off the things that you need as a individual, as a job. They're very pleasant for you as a worker, but this kind of report helps you isolate the people who might be leaving without telling you. Because as far as you're concerned, the things you want, they meet a lot of those requirements. But if that doesn't scratch a lot of the itches of interest for the individual, this kind of reporting can start to ferret out, you know, who are those individuals who are doing relatively great at their job, but have, through sheer mass of untapped talent, are likely looking elsewhere. That's available, you know, just in a bulk process there. So there's a lot of different ways that this can be used to provide information to your managers. So regardless of their charisma level, regardless of their emotional intelligence, you've got an exact script where the person has been able to represent themselves, say what really engages them about the job. Your managers have given you a clear picture of the expectations of the job and the logic that is presented within these reports. At a higher level, we can also provide documentation. A little hard to see there, but 90-day outlook, 1-year outlook, 2-year outlook. Basically, we can predict with our analytics and with our training internally, you know, basically how long someone's likely to last at the job if no extra action is taken. However, the good news is, since you have this data, you're going to be able to know what really drives that individual even from step 1. And we also use this at times in education. It's all coaching to us. And we've heard from some of our favorite customers that, you know, the connection they would have after knowing a student for a year. And you may not have much time to really get to know your people, especially after a year's worth of time. You can imagine a school counselor, they work a lot and spend a lot of time with people. And they were reporting that just through one first initial meeting, having this information and connecting with the individual, not only does it give people a shared language to connect on, but the amount of connection that they're able to get and the amount of coaching insights they're able to provide where the person actually absorbs them, because the coaching is custom tailored with very little loss of information. It basically unlocks the coaching reality that you want to create. And, you know, not only internally, but this can be company-wide. We can pretty much predict with accuracy pretty much who your best people are, sight unseen, based solely upon the information that we have there. It's really useful coaching insights. But also I wanted to say for this too, we now have the capacity, if you want to use this for career exploration for local high schools, local colleges, local job forces and job centers, we can juxtapose your job to the talent pool in your area and provide you with a click of a button. We can provide you the top 50 list of the people who would be really good for that position. So exciting things. Please contact us if you have any more questions. We look forward to being able to get you on board, show you all this, put all this information in your hands, and just do that great thing of turning everyone's the passions of your workers into profit for the company. Thanks so much.